Welcome back to the Andrew Tate Show by GSMC Sports. In segment 1, we were remembering the life and legacy of Bill Walton on his death this week. We are moving now into our next segment. As we do that, though, I do want to remind you that we get a lot of questions and comments during our shows, and we would love to engage with you. To ensure that your question and comment gets seen, please go to GSMCPodcast.net. You can leave a tip or a donation, and that will put your comment at the top of our list, ensuring that we see it so that we can engage with that comment or question. Again, that is GSMCPodcast.net. And now we move into last night's game between the Celtics and the Pacers, Game 4. It was a Game 4 showdown where the Boston Celtics showcased their championship pedigree by clinching a spot in the NBA Finals with a 105-102 victory over the Indiana Pacers. The game was a roller coaster of emotions, with both teams trading baskets and momentum swings throughout. However, it was Derrick White's heroics that stole the spotlight, as his tie-breaking three-pointer with just 43 seconds remaining proved to be the decisive blow that propelled the Celtics to victory. White's clutch shot epitomized the depth and resilience of the Celtics roster. Despite a relatively subdued performance earlier in the game, White stepped up when it mattered most, showcasing the unwavering confidence and composure that has become synonymous with Boston's playoff success. His game-winning shot will undoubtedly go down in Celtics lore as one of the defining moments of their postseason journey. However, White was not the only hero for Boston on this night. Jaylen Brown, who was named the Eastern Conference Finals MVP, delivered another stellar performance with 29 points, 6 rebounds, and crucial defensive plays down the stretch. Brown's leadership and determination were instrumental in guiding the Celtics past the resilient Pacers and into the NBA Finals for the second time in 3 years. Joining Brown in the spotlight was Jason Tatum, whose all-around brilliance was on full display with 26 points, 13 rebounds, and 8 assists. Tatum's ability to impact the game in multiple facets further underscored Boston's versatility and firepower, posing a formidable challenge to any opponent they may face in the championship series. The victory over the Pacers was particularly sweet for the Celtics, as it came exactly 1 year after their heartbreaking defeat in Game 7 of the conference finals against Miami. This year, however, Boston has shown remarkable resilience, rattling off 7 consecutive playoff victories, including 6 on the road and 3 in elimination games. Despite their valiant efforts, the Pacers ultimately fell short in their quest to extend the series. Missing the services of two-time All-Star Tyrese Halliburton, Indiana put up a spirited fight but ultimately succumbed to Boston's relentless pressure in the clutch moments. Andrew Nembhard led the Pacers with an impressive performance of 24 points, 10 assists, and 6 rebounds, but his potential game-tying three-pointer in the closing seconds was off the mark, sealing the Celtics' victory. With their ticket punched to the NBA Finals, the Celtics now await the winner of the Western Conference Finals between the Dallas Mavericks and the Minnesota Timberwolves. As they prepare for the championship series, the Celtics will undoubtedly draw confidence from their collective resolve and unwavering belief in their ability to overcome adversity on the grandest stage of them all. Tate, you said it. You said that you figured it was going to be a sweep, and here we are, Game 4, sweep.
Unfortunately, yes, we are talking about a sweep. And you know, you look at this and you start thinking about this, and you think that this series will not be remembered as a great series. This is just a blowout series in which the Celtics, who were expected to win, this is what was expected. People were expecting this to not even be a series, and then it became a series later on as things started going on. I was shocked at how competitive this was. I thought the Pacers should have won Game 1. I thought they should have won Game 3, and I think they should have won Game 4 last night. It's one of those things where if you're an Indiana Pacer, you have to be sick. You got to be sick. Looking at this and thinking, what could have happened? We win the games that we're controlling at the very end, then, you know, we're in this series. At worst, this should be a 2-2 series. Instead, it's an outright sweep. And then when you start thinking about it as far as like the Celtics go, one of the big knocks against the Celtics was they can't close out games. They can't, are they really as good as the statistics show? Because statistically, this is the best team since the Jordan Bulls. Only statistically. I don't look at them as one of the greatest teams ever, but statistically speaking, they're one of the greatest teams of the 21st century. But you don't have that feel, and you look at them and you're like, they don't close out games. Well, that is not true. Game 1, they should have lost that game. But as any great team, when the game was on the line, they kicked it in and they pulled it out. They came back game 2, absolutely dominated. Came back game 3. That was a really close game. And again, down the stretch, the Celtics were the better team. They had the ability to focus and close a game out when needed. And then game 4 here. Traditionally, when you start looking at a game, you're up 3 games to none. A lot of times teams are like, we got this in the bag. We're gonna go celebrating, talk with friends and family. And that's how teams tend to get a win, how that gentleman's sweep kind of kicks in. But no, not the Celtics. They kept the pedal to the metal, even down to the end. Indiana was up. Indiana was going strong. They could have easily packed it in and been like, we'll wait till we get back to Boston and close this out. But no, they dug deep. They were like, we're putting them away now. And so that was so impressive. Now you look around and Jaylen Brown, and talk about closing games out strong. Jaylen Brown, this whole series has been unreal. Tonight, 29 points, 6 rebounds, 2 assists. But his factor, having to deal with him on the court, Indiana just did not have an answer for him. You look at Jayson Tatum, 26 points, 13 rebounds, 8 assists. When you look around and you look at this game, these were two close teams, but the two best players on the court was always Brown and Tatum, and there was no doubt about that. And that was the difference in this whole series, is they had Brown and Tatum, and Indiana did not. Now, if you talk about keys to the game, MVP performance by Jaylen Brown. We talked about his points, where it's 26 points, the rebounds and assists. Being able to find, even when you're not scoring, being able to find that pivotal player when you need to. Being able to find Derrick White so he can hit that 3-pointer to take them to go ahead. Throughout this series, Jaylen Brown has been the factor that Indiana never could figure out. So, and then Jayson Tatum, another big night. Nailed a critical jumper with 3 minutes left. He's just been that guy who, whether he's Batman or Robin on the night, you're gonna have to deal with him. And so that was a big deal. But here's one it's kind of crazy. Derrick White. You don't think about the Celtics. Who's gonna have a big night? Who's gonna have the big moment? You don't say Derrick White. Especially up until that point, he was 0 for 7 from 3. So it wasn't like he was a guy that was like, oh, we got to get it to the hot hand or anything. but he came up with a solid 16 points and a clutch 3-pointer with 43 seconds on the clock to kind of close this game out. And that was the key. Even though you have a guy that hasn't been hot, isn't doing well from 3, Brown was still able to connect up with him. He was able to close that 3, and it's curtains. And then you talk about the team effect. This is not really a surprise to me, but as looking at this as this series has gone on, offensively, the Celtics were the better team. Defensively, the Celtics were the better team. That's the 2 best players were the Celtics. And so, like I said, the series went the way it was supposed, the way most people thought it would go. I don't know how, I wouldn't have been shocked if I said at the beginning of the series that it would have been a sweep, but I would have been shocked and was shocked at how close these games were. So Celtics complete the sweep. As I was talking about this, best regular season with a net rating of plus 11.7, and the playoffs was 10.8. People do not realize how great the Celtics team is. It's one of the all-time greats on paper. And like I said, since the Jordan Bulls. So, and then lastly, Jaylen Brown as Eastern Conference Finals MVP. I thought he was going to get the MVP, but if they would have said, that Tatum was MVP, I wouldn't have been shocked either. It could have went either way. I think the vote ended up being 5-4 in favor of Jaylen. But I would have liked to seen it be a co-MVP. Both of them, Tatum and Brown, as co-MVP. I think that would have been the better way to go. But this was definitely a great series. So, and now moving on, the NBA has a problem right now. The NBA has a problem because this series is over. The NBA has a problem because the Dallas-Minnesota series could be over. The next game scheduled for the NBA Finals does not start until June 6th. That means 11 to 12 days, almost 2 weeks. This thing is that there's no games. There's nothing. Just dead time. Great for the Celtics. Great for whomever coming out getting rest. But this is a long gap in between a great finals and then just rolling into, this dead period that's going to come up soon. Provided that, Dallas closes out Minnesota. You don't want to be Dallas and take this thing 6-7 games. You want to knock this thing out so you're both rested and you're both ready to go. It's going to be interesting.
Absolutely. Well, that is all the time that we have for this segment. When we come back, we are going to be talking about Jim Harbaugh and some recent revelations about his move from Michigan to the Chargers. You are tuned into the Andrew Tate Show by GSMC Sports, and we will be right back.